What up, though? Welcome back to the Beat Factory 313 War Stories podcast, and I'm your host, Juice, and I got my brother back. What's going on, Nico?
You know what it is. You know what I mean? 7 Mile Cat, Andover stand up. Former Rock Bottom member Nico Blossom for those in the music game. And MBOC hostage name and number Sherman Wagner, 228-509. What up, bro? Top of the morning.
Top of the morning. How you feeling?
Oh, man, I feel wonderful, man. Today is a great day to take over, you know?
That's what's up, and we own it. I had you come back because, they tapped into that last interview we did on the 18 best friends Clifford Jones thing. You know what I'm saying? Who had the most dominant team of hitters? You feel me? And
Yeah. I like the topic. You know what I mean? For one reason, man. You know, I come up in the streets of Detroit. I got a love-hate relationship with, my education. It gave me everything I ever had, but it took everything I ever loved. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, when they give us nothing and we make something out of it, can't nobody complain about it not being perfect. They can't shit in the bed and then complain about the smell. They gave us nothing, man,
Mm-hmm.
And, I wanted to take it a little bit broader, though, if you ain't mind. Just,
Go ahead.
turn it into something, a little more comprehensive. The Detroit mindset, rather than putting crews against each other and who was the best, or where it looked like we asking who did the most destruction. Let's talk about literally, we in our 50s.
Mm-hmm.
So we in the crossroads between, basically right after civil rights. I'm born in 1973. Martin Luther King got killed in 1968. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
We 5 years out of that. You feel what I'm saying? So guys is figuring a way to turn poverty into paradise and shit like that. And it comes with, like I said, we talked about the last time, you don't build an empire without putting an army behind it, So, but listen, this is what I want to say. If you look at the Detroit mentality, right? Let's talk about the Teamsters and the thing that they set down, where they pushed, they roughed off the brands that built America. The big three automotive. Man, the Teamsters, Jimmy Hoffa and them put the play down with the unions and how they did what they did. Man, they killed this nigga. They still looking for him to this day. You feel me?
You feel me?
The rumor is they bury him in the foundation of the Renaissance Center. So I'm saying that as to say that we got our example from the corporate mindset. Like we can even talk about the Chambers, BJ Marlowe and them, when they raided their crack house and they said they had the 10 crack commandments on the wall. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even in the future of hip hop, the guy that wrote the 10 crack commandments for Biggie was from Detroit. A lot of people don't know that. But I'm just saying the corporate mindset, we had pick up and drop off. We had lieutenants. We had cut up girls. And then on top of that, we had the wrecking crew for a motherfucker that played with the paper. Again, the corporate structure, the corporate mindset was how, guys came to franchise these crews of soldiers. You get where I'm coming from?
Right.
When my daddy and them was in the game, a pimp was a pimp, a car thief was a car thief, a B&E artist was a B&E artist, a safe cracker. Look at nowadays, man, you get one-stop shop, guy come up young, first thing you do, no matter what it is, if he ain't selling nothing but nickel sacks of weed, is he got a strap on his hip, because you got to be able to protect what you got. Because if not, somebody come along and take it from you, So
for real,
I say all of that to make argument for them guys who just, refused to have somebody come along and take what they had, or stand in the way of them saving themselves and them families from this poverty. You know what I mean? Hey, man, guys did what they had to do historically. I watch TV all the time. You know who they put on TV the most? The Pope or Hitler. You feel me?
Why you think that is?
And listen, I'm telling you why. Because the men who conquered the world was visionaries. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody running around here talking about peace, getting up week-long segments on TV. Mahatma Gandhi don't get that. They don't care nothing about that, not in the real world. The UFC and boxing ain't the number one sports in the world because we love peace. We just hate when other people use aggressive, effective, violent means to conquer and control something that we want to have. You feel where I'm coming from?
Right.
I'm saying basics. If I was in the 8th grade and had the prettiest girl in school, niggas would walk by and squeeze her ass every chance they got if they didn't think I'd put the hammer down at any time. Bust a nigga head with a book bag or whatever it took. So again, I want to take away that stigma, the argument that they want to try to say that the violence associated with a city like Detroit comes from the citizens rather than the conditions. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because violence lives everywhere, and it's what shapes the world. God shaped the world with violence. He shaped the landscapes with a volcanic blast that cooled and formed the magma that made the earth. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Violent storms, hurricanes and tornadoes, and all the earthquakes. The world was shaped violently, man. So, you know, I'm a fan of violence when it's used to a means, as a means to an end, as a necessity. And like I said, I come from, people gonna debate this, you can Google it. I come from the #1 highest murder rated neighborhood precinct district in Detroit for 20 years running. I'm from 48203, 11th precinct district. I'm from 7 Mile and Andover. We don't call that bitch Beirut on the Woodward side, Dangerous on my hood, and then, you know, from the guys DeQuinder on down to Conant. We all still in the same area for 20 plus years until 48205, the red zone took over.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the murder game in and out. Everybody I know that died got killed by somebody that knew them. Ain't no strangers thought to pick up no weapons, come over here and do nothing to none of us. So,
right.
You know, when you start talking about guys like Coleman, you know, which people call Big 50, my man Ronald Hunter.
That's right.
You know, me, him, yeah, this my guy. You know, Boo Cup.
They asked about Boo Cup. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Knockout King. You see what I'm saying? Sister Kathy, all of them, you know, they from across the bridge. I went to Nolan. That's their side of the bridge. That's Drake Carter. Mm-hmm. That's Jason Sherman. You know, that's Rich Bo. You know, the twins, the people that, you know, personify their side of the bridge. Gerald, rest in peace. You know what I mean?
G-Man.
You know, they war was with our side.
Oh, I ain't know that.
History.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, the guys that killed Gerald is from Yakima. Rest in peace. You know, little Greg. But, you know, the war with them, we all grew up messing with each other, you know, allies, so to speak, but it's always that uneasy tension because they from across the bridge. So whatever happened in that scenario that caused that. But I grew up with those guys. And the honorable things to me is not that they was putting the hammer down, doing what they was doing, but when it all went bad and the feds got involved. You see what I'm saying? Because we all know they caught that indictment.
Right.
From both sides together. When the feds got involved, man, listen, you know, guys said, hey, you know, we're not going to play that game. I ain't going to say a guy in their team didn't, but he did not too. But I'm only saying this, the real stump down gangsters, the muscle on the bottom end, we know who they are. You can Google it, pull it up, the case is there.
Mm-hmm.
They stood firm. Man, the guy who did all the killing was one of their dead homeboys, you feel me?
Right.
Yeah, you know, put it on his legacy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because we ain't did none of that to each other. The guy that did do all of that, though, rest in peace, one of our men honored his legacy. He took cases for all them guys. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that was gangster.
That's real.
Yeah. But as far as, you know, the legacy that was set by the YBIs, the legacy that was carried on by the Friends, other guys, the guys off the North End, you know, I know their histories, although I'm only in my mid-50s. You know, I caught my case with them guys off the North End, the Zoo Crew guys, when I came to the joint in 92. Mm-hmm. So I've been over there my whole life back and forth dealing with them. So all the, you know, the Chester Campbells and all them and what they was doing, and, you know, the Coleman family, you know, the Ellington family, you know what I mean?
Right.
Other families I can name, you know what I mean? These people, you know, again, that it's the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
When people ask you where you from, Juice, let's say Francis, right?
Right.
We fuck with guys from all over the city, stump down, stand-up guys. When a guy asks you, hey man, ain't you from Finkel? Your immediate response is hell no.
Right.
I'm from, and you give them your pedigree. Even though I mess with guys off Finkel, don't nobody want to, you know what I'm saying, be misassociated. And the reason why everybody from Detroit can go anywhere in the world, and the first thing that come out their mouth when somebody triumphs, I'm talking about a lawyer in a courtroom. I'm talking about a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. They say, bitch, I'm from Detroit. Don't play with me.
You
don't
feel
they
me?
was out here doing what we was doing, but it's because of that it's a mission statement when a person says, I'm from Detroit. When we show up with the bag in all the 80s and said, I'm from Detroit, it meant a few things. It meant I'm here to get the bread. I mean, I ain't going to play with damn motherfucker trying to stand in my way. You did? And it meant I represented a brand. So, you know.
You have 1 minute remaining.
You got to call right back so we can keep this going. You feel me? Now,
okay. You got questions too.
Yeah.
Throw them in there.
Okay, I got you. Now tell them a little bit about us pioneering, hitting that OT. You feel me?
For sure. Got you, bro. I hit you back in 15.
All right, bet. Peace.
Thank you for using GTL.
That was Nico Brasi from Rock Bottom, and he go chime right back in, and we go get into a little more about the A-Team, the Best Friends, and the Clifford Jones organization. You know what I'm saying? To bring y'all up to speed, I've been reading them comments and everything. And y'all was saying, I read one comment was saying, touch on the ladies, more against the females. Well, if y'all didn't know, the A-Team wasn't started by Butch Jones or none of them. Allegedly, you know, some of y'all, YBI, correct me if I'm wrong. Check me out, Chestnut. Let me know. We got to get together. Chestnut will be back too, y'all. But to my knowledge, Portia Jones, Butch's wife, started the A-Team behind a botched robbery attempt on her and her family. She was protecting her and her kids, Momo at the time. They defended off a band of robbers, and that led her into putting her a security team together, which later became the A-Team. You feel me? So I'm gonna pause it right there until Cat come back and we go pick up from right there. Y'all stay tuned. Hit that like, comment, subscribe button for me and get these views up. You feel me? And the YouTube streets is back. Go check out my co-host. You know what I'm saying? We got Public Figure Boogie over there. We got the females over there, Baby Doll and that girl Henny. You know what I'm saying? Can't forget about my guy Detroit Gossip and the biggest mouth, the most dangerous mouth in the city, Dogface Calderon. So y'all check us out on the YouTube streets. But hit that like, comment, and subscribe button, and I'm back with the war stories and the prison stories gonna be going down. So y'all stay tuned. We back, y'all. Now, what you was saying, Nico?
I think the last thing I left off, what was we talking? I think it was talking about the corporate mindset of how Detroit got its mentality. We talking about the Teamster Union and the Jimmy Hoffa thing,
right? And how we start going OT. That's what we were supposed to pick up back. Our generation started.
Yeah. Before I go right there, I wanted to say something else to people who little history lesson about Detroit, right?
Mm-hmm.
We see Detroit as a black city, all black. Even most of us grew up in a time after Coleman Young became the first black mayor, and we had a whole succession of black mayors until then. But what people really don't understand is that Detroit was set up by the Jews, the Greeks, the Italians. That's how we got a Greek town. But the Catholic Church, any saint on the east side, Saint Jean or any of that, if you look in those areas, they got the big Catholic churches. Those were the areas where the Catholics was at. So this was a city that was founded by the French, and built up by different church and or ethnic groups. You feel what I'm saying? So the Eastern Market, Greek Town, all that shit like that always been ran by, let's call them, organized groups of people. Some people call them names like, in Philadelphia and New York, they call them the mob or the mafia or shit like that. So again, with us, working under these people initially, getting jobs from them. The big three automakers, we always been taught the corporate mentality. You see what I'm saying? The way we organize. So when they start talking about indictments out of Detroit, for a lot of times these indictments from these crews come with a charge of murder for hire. You get where I'm coming from?
Right.
So again, the corporate mindset, because they saying all these crews and organizations didn't rise to power on a handshake and a smile. Just wanted to say that, just to spark some thoughts, because in the future we'll end up talking about some of these things, just to be thorough. But let's talk about the out-of-town mindset. We started OT, let's just say 86. I'm going to tell you how we got OT.
Let's
Guys
go.
from my neighborhood will know this is the truth. Niggas in my hood had a family reunion. I think this was 87.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody from their family was from Ohio, a small town in Ohio. They auntie or somebody, she's smoking. She come to the block to get a $10 rock because she on a family reunion trip. Who got the rocks? Guy pull out, show her a $10 rock. And she say, what? All of that for $10? Baby, where I'm from, you're going to pay at least $40 for that. Well, where you from, auntie? She say the little town in Ohio, when they go back, guys staying in touch with her kids. Man, we need to go out there and try to see what's up. Two guys from the block go down there. When they come back, you know what I mean? They ain't got nothing with them, a little something they can put in their pocket. When they get back, they got bread. They talking about buying Mustangs and they got beepers popping off and you know what I mean? They Calvin Klein and silk shirted up. We like, damn, them. And they saying, who want to go with us? Now, this is the distinction between guys who had the adventurous mindset and the thought process that, hey, I can go anywhere with the game that I got from here. So we first started going to Cleveland, Ohio, Lima, Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
Columbus.
Then
it went to Erie, Pennsylvania. You know how it go, right across the border. Then we know Minnesota. These became the route. And as we started taking the routes, we started taking our brand of putting the army down to protect the empire because we knew that the bag grew, the money grew, the prosperity grew. Now when you come back home, my man said on the song on the Rock Bottom album, he said, I'm from where niggas get rich. He said, when it comes to hitting licks, I'm like 4, 5, 6. Actually, I'm like 4, 5, 6. I'm from where niggas get rich in like 4 or 5 trips. You feel me? So, fourth or fifth trip coming back, guys hitting the car lot, moving their mama out, things like that. So, this is the Detroit that I know. Again, we talking around the violent aspect. We talking around the army aspect because we already covered that. I don't want to say too much. We always talk about statute of limitations, but sometimes you can say a thing without saying it. I don't have to get too deep because, again, every hood got those guys that you knew for a fact was laying down the empire and had a crew or would do it themselves to protect and maintain it. And I don't think that's ever going to change. And I don't think that no corporate CEO, president, or whoever would ever say that you could do it any other way. So when I look at Detroit and I'm able to say, hey, this is where I'm from, I couldn't be from nowhere else. When I go somewhere and I lay down a flawless plan, it's executed, and I'm successful, I thank God for the guys that taught me, the city that taught me, the corporate mindset that taught me, even in legal business. Man, we could just start counting the people that's representing on the legal side from Detroit. There was that guy, I can't remember his name, that made the Detroit versus everybody t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's only 700,000 people in Detroit, man. He sold millions of these shirts, so much so that Gucci came along and gave this man a deal. Why did the word Detroit versus everybody mean so much to the world? Why did it mean so much to some people way over in Italy?
You feel me? Because Detroit is legendary in a lot of different aspects of the game. You feel me?
One thing leads to another, man. Always. See, we started at the bottom. We started with the soldiers who was putting the work in. But you can't give that credit without giving credit to the brains that built the operation that necessitated having the army and the soldiers. You feel me?
Right.
Now, a word of the wise to guys who got, I'm gonna call it the stage now, and the things that they doing. You know, maybe in my opinion, everybody think they did it the best. Maybe without enough reason or enough flash. You know, for the right reasons, man. You know, they just drilling. You know, guys is dropping shit, becoming successful, throwing themselves into the gladiator arena. And I'm taking it back to what I said at first. And my daddy in them era, and when I first came up, a pimp was a pimp. A cart thief was a cart thief. A safe cracker was a safe cracker. You know, and a gangster was a gangster. Now you guys is being successful, imitating gangsters. And then when it go all bad, man, y'all guys is singing like Michael Jackson on the stage and talking and telling about certain things. Y'all rapping about shit that shouldn't be rapped about, things that can't be exposed. You don't do crimes in the dark, my man, just to tell everybody about it when daylight rise. You know what I mean? And that's not keeping in tradition with how we was raised and grown where we from.
For real. They forget the rules. They don't play by no rules this time. You feel me?
Yeah.
It was a little
partially our fault. If we're not there to brother and uncle because we all in the penitentiary or dead, partially. But a man know better. You know your own constitution too, you know?
Mm-hmm. But then you got to put this in perspective. Some of them ones in our time rolled over. You feel me? They just did. It just wasn't mainstream like it is because the social media wasn't like it is now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Come to find out, a lot of these so-called gangsters we looked up to. You know what I'm saying? Didn't stick to the code. You know what I'm saying? They broke bad. You know what I'm saying? And then the thing is, they try to justify it. Ain't no justification for ratting. You know what I'm saying?
Man, yeah. Even this is what I tell a guy. If you a man who used to answering questions from another man, well then you gonna be a rat anyway. I'm saying this, I don't hate the police for me and love them for you. I couldn't answer questions about nothing I got going on that you don't have a part of it. That's just not my character. You know what I mean? So, you know, we got to learn to start recognizing it. You know what I mean? And guys who want to be famous. You know what I mean? Instead of guys who want to be effective.
Mm-hmm. That's real. Now, what about how them chamber boys structured it? You know, they say they made the New Jack City around the structure that these boys came up with, and they said
you have 1 minute remaining.
Well,
go ahead.
We'll cover that. I remember when I barked back.
Okay, bet.
Yeah, because they probably was the most corporate out of everybody. You know, in '88, they said they made more money than GM on the news.
You feel me? And these boys, they don't pay attention to their game. They don't even listen to their game. I had BJ Chambers on here. You feel me?
Yeah.
Telling his story, but it didn't do the numbers that I anticipated it doing. But the violent stuff, they tune in to that go 10,000, 20,000 views real quick. You feel me?
Right.
So,
well, it's like boxing. It's like UFC, man. People love their blood. You know what I mean? Love their violence.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta make sense of it, though.
That's right. Make it make sense.
I'll hit you back.
Okay.
You want me to hit you back at 15?
Yeah.
Yep, I'm back at you.
All right, bet. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for using GTL.
With that being said, we go talk a little bit while we're waiting on him to call back. We go talk a little bit about the Friends because I'm gonna still compare them because y'all wanted to hear that. The Friends, we could talk more about the Friends, and the Friends history is that they got a disadvantage on what we could talk about because a lot of their stuff went to the newspapers, and a lot of them boys end up cooperating. So they whole story, basically, you could go look it up. You know what I'm saying? So some of the stuff with everybody else, like Clifford Jones, we can't speak on all the stuff because everything ain't came out in the court, so we don't know everything about Clifford Jones. We can't say everything about the A team because we don't know it. All we could do is speak on what's in the court paperwork. And with the Friends, you know, they got credit they confess to knocking down a lot of individuals in their time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just starting off with Steve. You know what I'm saying? From Steve. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't going that. They wasn't. And one thing about the friends, they didn't go what they wasn't no bullies. They didn't prey on the weak. You know what I'm saying? Whoever could get it with them boys in their time. You know what I'm saying? So you had Steve. Steve wanting to be played with. Ask them boys that's still around. Ask Rock and Reds. You know what I'm saying? Ask him what Steve about his business. You know what I'm saying? He was outnumbered and outgunned, but still Steve was busting back. You feel me? You know, they killed Steve, they killed Carlton. Carlton was Steve's cousin. I always thought they was brothers, but they was cousins. You know what I'm saying? And you had Big James, you know what I'm saying? Big James was a heavyweight on the east side, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't no slouch, you know what I'm saying? And he had a crew, you know what I'm saying? Big James, you know what I'm saying? He had the Love It Boys, you know what I'm saying? Y'all heard what Big B said, you know what I'm saying? He had Derrick Rule over there, Al Morgan, um, Terry Bell, you know what I'm saying? Bo Jack, Lil Charlie, you know what I'm saying? He had a nice little squad over there, Toot Royal, you know what I'm saying? So he wasn't no slouch, and the friends pushed it to him. First they robbed him. You know what I'm saying? Big James called himself putting them boys down. You know what I'm saying? Showed them where some work was at. They double back, took the work. They didn't kill the workers and none of that then. So that let you know what how they felt about Big James. You know what I'm saying? They didn't fear him no matter who he had rocking with him. They arrogance and they gangster was so tough that they didn't give a fuck. You feel me? Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? On occasion before he ended up meeting his demise, they had shot him in the stomach after allegedly taking five bricks from them. You know what I'm saying? From Big James. You know what I'm saying? They ran into him, shot him in the stomach, let him live then. You know what I'm saying? A stomach shot could have been a head shot. You feel me? So that's why I'm saying they wasn't just preying on the weak. Then you had Stacy Colbert. I'm gonna try to get with Stacy Colbert too. I don't want to just be speaking on him, but you could go look his case up. You know what I'm saying? Stacy had a list. He said from Boogaloo, all them bodies he laid down on that paperwork. It was about 12 people on there. You know what I'm saying? He had Mike Mitchell. He had Walter Johnny. He had Lil Bobby. Frank. You know, all these boys was money getters on the east side, man. Shit, they was all basically one crew. You know what I'm saying? So the friends got a disadvantage of when you trying to weigh it out, because I could dig up more stuff on the best friends than I could dig up on everybody else. But everybody else wasn't playing either. But I'm gonna go and dig up more stuff. So right now we talking about the best friends. You know what I'm saying? And the things they did in the underworld allegedly. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they did nothing. This things that come up in the court record. So y'all could go look up the best friends indictment and from the 90s. Like when the best friends, he go to the Grand Reaper, you know what I'm saying? The Grand Reaper showed his body. He showed what the friends did to the Grand Reaper. Um the walking Grand Reaper, you know what I'm saying? The devil in the flesh. And the friends went at him and left him. You know what I'm saying? And on that case, it was such a classic because they was beefing with MG at the time, Marco. You know what I'm saying? East Side Marco, Money Marco, and Money Marco had a hitter on his team, Joe Long, what they call Joe Long, Bone. Okay, so Bone, I don't know how they put it together, so I'm just hypothetically speaking, but this how the classic was laid out. Allegedly, when Bone pulled up, he went over this girl house in the cab. But allegedly, from listening to Nate Boone, they was already out there. So that means if they was already out there, that means somebody had already tipped them off that he was gonna be there. You feel me? So anyway, when Joe pulled up, he had hit her himself. When he pulled up, them already being outside, I think that's what rocked him to sleep, because they didn't move on him when he came to the house. So he went to the house and got out the cab, went in the house and stayed X amount of time. That cab left. So I don't know how long he was there, hours or what, but the friends were still there. You feel me? So I'm gonna try to get one of them to come and tell the story. But Nate Boone left off the story because that's when he get it. So anyway, when he come out, he leaving in another cab. Another cab come and pick Joe Long up when he leaving. When and this happened on Wilford. When he get in the cab, um Boone, Lucky, Chuck. I don't know if he said Stacy was there. I got to go back. But for sure, he said Lucky and Chuck. You feel me? So Boone, Lucky, and Chuck, they opened fire on the cab driver and Bone in the cab. They sprayed. They said, I hear the rumor is Bone supposed to shot the cab driver. I don't know how true that is. You feel me? You have to get with somebody in law enforcement to bring that up or something. I don't know how somebody would know that. But that's what the streets was saying. But anyway, they sprayed the cab. They sprayed the cab with Bone and the cab driver. The cab driver died, Bone died. And in the process, Boone say Chuck hit him with the M16. Lucky hit him with an AK. You feel me? He showed his body. He got chunks of meat missing out his arm, his stomach, and all that. Go check out some of Nate Boone stuff, and you will see what I'm talking about. You will even hear the story. I don't know what episode it is, but he tells the story himself. You feel me? But yeah, so the friends got more leverage. That was a classic hit. You know what I'm saying? If they put that hit down just like that, and I remember I was on the street then. I actually had a house on Wilford when that took place. You know what I'm saying? A honeycomb hideout. You feel me? I wasn't there though. I wasn't on the block when it took place, but I did have a house on that block. That Zach Street. Not to say the block, that Zach Street when that transpired. I was on the run at that time. You know what I'm saying? And when I heard about it and all the shots and how the play played out, you feel me? Yeah, go pull up some of the best friends indictment and stuff, and y'all see what I'm talking about. And then we could talk more about it in the comments, and then I'll bring it up on the show and get things going. So I'm gonna end it right here with best friends, and then we go come back and we go talk more about everybody else. You know what I'm saying? We go pick up with the friends, and then we go move on to either the Cliff Jones story or either we go move on to the A-Team story. The A-Team story, classic too. Them boys wasn't nothing to be played with. You know what I'm saying? You had Farad over there. You know what I'm saying? You had Gravel Pit. I think Sadat. Spencer Holloway. Wide Irk. Just to name a few, you know what I'm saying? Then over there, Clifford Jones, you know what I'm saying? You had Cliff, you had his brother, Big Herb, his brother Bean. Then you had Pretty Boy, Steve Washington on the right, and then you had Big Cuddy, Sean Ingram on the left. You know what I'm saying? You had Fat Mo. You know what I'm saying? Just to name a few. I ain't gonna get the name of everybody. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna come back to this and pick up because I've been reading the comments and I'm gonna pull the comments up. You know what I'm saying? So we could break down Detroit history of the gangster shit. You feel me? I see y'all like hearing that. And I'm still throwing the prison stories. Y'all need to check out the prison stories. Go back and hit the like, comment, and subscribe. I don't know what's going on, but hit that like, comment, and subscribe and get it in the algorithm. Push it. You feel me? I ain't asking y'all for no money and no donations or nothing, but hit that like, comment, and subscribe and pass it on. Share it. You feel me? And go check out the YouTube streets. Like I said, we got a lot of content on YouTube streets. That's when we're talking about relevant, what's relevant in today's time. You know what I'm saying? What's going on in current days events. You feel me? The current events on there. And I do that with my co-host, Detroit Gossip. Y'all got to check him out. Detroit Gossip, Public Figure Boogie. That Girl Henny, Baby Doll Too Raw, and you already know the biggest mouth in the city, the biggest voice, um, Dogface Calderon. You feel me? So with that being said, I'm gonna end this right now. I thought he was gonna been a call back by now, but come back. We going down through this Detroit gangster history. You know what I'm saying? The crews, the different crews that we had set up, and comparing their styles and their legacies and the things they did, pros and the
Power
cons.
off.
And I'm out. And remember, there's a million and one urban stories in the urban community, and this just but one. The streets ain't what it is. You feel me? And hit that like, comment, and subscribe, and pass these to the young generation so they can hear some of these stories and they can weigh things out and make judgment on which way they really want to go. And with that being said, I'm out. I'm gonna end this now and get this out to y'all right now. This early morning. It's 8 in the morning. Peace.